400 runners from Connecticut were officially registered to run in today's Boston Marathon.
Tri News 8's Bob Wilson is live with us tonight from the Boston area in Quincy, I believe, where he's being joined by some folks who actually saw what happened this afternoon. Bob.
Yeah, they're from Connecticut. They were down here cheering their cousin on when all of a sudden their cousin crossed the finish line, and just a couple of seconds later, minutes later, the explosion happened. This is Courtney and this is Cheryl. They're from East Windsor. Actually, you moved out to L.A. since then, and these are all cousins, and you were watching your cousin run. So kind of take me through. You cross the finish. She crosses the finish line, and what happened?
She crossed the finish line. We were all so excited for her. We had signed up for text messages to let us know when she crossed. We got the message that she was finally across, and we were going to go meet her. We had planned to meet her at a specific area. So we started to leave to go meet her, asked one of the volunteers how to get there. They directed us. We no sooner walked down the block, turned right around the corner, and that's when the explosion happened.
Describe how, and it was more than one, or did you just feel one?
Two explosions. The first one was so loud, and it really shook us and all of our backs. And I remember I looked at my dad, and he's like, just walk. Just keep walking. And I was holding onto this little one's hand, and we just kept walking. And then the second one happened, and we all stopped, and we all looked at each other, and we're like, we need to get out of here right away. And then my cousin called my mother to let her know that she was okay and to not meet at the place that we were supposed to be meeting at, but to just get out of the city as fast as we could. Which we did, yeah.
Which is not an easy thing, because they went into gridlock. All the transportation was shut down, the buses. How did you get out?
Well, we originally came in on the ferry, which was good, because we walked by a T stop, and everyone's like, T is closed. People were coming out of the T. They were not allowed into it. Cell phones weren't working again. Weren't working, I say again, but they weren't working continuously. And so we were just doing our best to get through. We decided to just walk to the ferry and get there and see, hoping that the ferry would be the safest way out, which it was.
Now, Courtney, you were telling me you were there for 9/11. Yeah. So were you having like flashbacks and just hyperventilating? I mean, this is a terrifying.
It was crazy, and I think that's where the again came from. Is it just brought me so back to that situation.
And it's so emotional. It's brutal.
Yeah, it was crazy and unbelievable, and I just feel so sorry for the families that were involved in this.
And you've been following it on TV as you got to a safe location.
Yeah. And internet, and getting all the texts and messages from all your family and friends, and just I'm so glad I'm with my family right now.
And you're all there. I mean, you've got to be.
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of my niece Jenny, and it was very hard for her. She said she's very excited, but she's so sad for the people, and it was a very hard run for her, but she did it, and her uncle is picking her up right now and bringing her out away from the city. So we're all going to Cape Cod, where it's safe, hopefully.
And it's emotional. I mean, she was really shaken up. Describe, you talked to her on the phone.
She truly was very, very emotional, and she said, I just want you guys safe. Just get on the ferry and get back, and I'll meet you at some point. I don't know when. So it was horrible. It was horrible. All the cheering and the people who could barely make it to the end and were screaming and cheering, and just people being so there for each other. And then all of a sudden, the explosion, and it's like, wait a minute, we were standing right there cheering for all these people. It was horrible. Horrible.
And you're a mom. You've got kids.
I've got my nieces with me, my daughter, my husband. My niece's mother is here from California, and it was a very, very proud moment. And we were just blown away. Literally, it was just frightening.
And then to think that she had to go run after that. She was wobbly-legged, and she had to go run from the explosion.
I know, all these people that had just finished this marathon, and it takes a lot to get into the Boston Marathon. And we were all so proud of everyone crossing that finish line. We walked down the streets, and people weren't even able to stand. I mean, they had just collapsed and just exhausted from the run.
There were a lot of people that helped each other, that you could see they were strangers, and there were people barely able to move their legs, and other people would come along and just grab them and help them through the finish line. So, I mean, it was the best of humanity and the worst, right there.
And I heard, and we were not there when we saw it, but I heard that the marathoners that had just crossed the finish line when the explosion happened, they turned around and they ran back in to help everybody that was...
There was state police. My niece is a nurse anesthetist in Sacramento. If this had happened when she was standing right there, she would have been right over at the medical tent helping them. There were a lot of doctors and things, and I think that was a blessing for the people.
And now there are 400 other Connecticut runners there, families from Connecticut. What did you know anybody else who was running in the race?
No, I didn't know anybody else except Jenny from California, and we've been planning this for months, haven't we? Courtney flew in from Los Angeles to see her cousin.
Yeah, it is incredible.
Relive this again. Well, we wish you the best. Your cousin right now, what's the status of your cousin?
She's in Boston still at their hotel, but her uncle is picking her up, and they're going to drive her into Massachusetts. I don't think we've made
We're in Massachusetts,
well,
but
I mean,
Cape
into
Cod.
out of Boston.
Yeah.
But we're trying to figure out what the rest of the night is going to entail. Hopefully, it's a huge hug from her.
Right. So you're hoping to reunite with her a little bit later on.
Absolutely.
'Cause I thought you were going to the finish line to say it. I thought actually in our conversation, which kept getting cut off because there was no phone conversation, that you did get to see her. So you haven't gotten to see her.
No, we haven't seen her yet.
Well, we wish you the best of luck recommunicating and reconnecting with your cousin. And just a terrible story here coming out of Massachusetts. I'm Bob Wilson reporting live just outside the ferry terminal in Quincy, News 8.